Hello, my name is Educated Collins, and welcome to my faster Rise of Shadows Arena review. Let's get started. First off, this is a new format and there are some bullet points to consider. We will be going fast. Let's start off with Druid. Crystal Power, 3 out of 5. It's an average removal with upside. Icon Bearer, 5 out of 5. Very solid early gameplay, similar to Firefly. Blessing of the Ancients, 3 out of 5. A weaker Power of the Wild, but can be casted twice in the same turn. Dayway Guardians, 3 out of 5. It's a lackluster early game card. The Forest Aid, 5 out of 5. So this is a very powerful late game finisher with many synergies. This card can potentially define the Druid class for the next rotation. It may push Druids to lean towards a very swarm heavy token arena style, and it's in my opinion the strongest Druid expansion card. Lifeweaver, 3 out of 5. It's hard to get this card to reliably trigger is its main issue. Crystal Stag, 4 out of 5. It's a very strong mid-range removal tool. It may have consistency issues playing this on turn 5, however. Crystal Song Portal, 4 out of 5. Very similar to a Mega Assembly in my opinion. A good refill tool. Keeper Staladris, 4 out of 5. An insane ability if it triggers, but it also has solid stats. Lucent Bark, 3 out of 5. It's a somewhat slow card and it's hard to trigger its ability consistently. Next we have Hunter. Markshot, 5 out of 5. Very solid removal spell, better than Hammer of Wrath. Rapid Fire, 3 out of 5. Great ping card, but nothing special. Satron, 3 out of 5. Decent draw minion, but weaker stats for its cost, and it's less powerful in the Hunter class. Hunting Party, 1 out of 5. It's a very inconsistent card that slows down a Hunter's game plan. Unleash the Beast, 5 out of 5. So this is a 6-mana Warbear that you get 2 copies of. So this card actually looks really strong because we've learned in the previous expansions that strong rush cards are really good. So getting 2 copies makes this card very potent and reliable. So it's a big thumbs up for me. Very strong Hunter card here. Shimmerfly, 4 out of 5. Slow 1 mana cycle, nothing special, but a very good card. 9 lives, 2 out of 5. It's a very slow draw card that doesn't seem to have any obviously busted synergies with it. Arcane Fletcher, 2 out of 5. Badly statted and slow ability, not impressed by this card. Oblivitron, 1 out of 5. So it's very badly statted and unreliable ability, just avoid this card. Verisa Windrunner, 4 out of 5. So she has decent stats and weapons are useful. Now we have Mage. Messenger Raven, 4 out of 5. Discovers draws are powerful and the stats are playable. Ray of Frost, 3 out of 5. Basic early game removal tool, nothing special. Magic Dart Frog, 2 out of 5. Somewhat unreliable ability and the stats are lacking. Kirin Tor Tricaster, 2 out of 5. Similar to Cosmic Anomaly, but a weaker version. Magic Trick, 2 out of 5. There aren't that many impressive cheap mage spells, and the discovery pool will be clogged with secrets. Conjurer's Calling, 5 out of 5. So this is a cheaper and less situational Molten Reflection, and you get 2 copies of it. It actually seems really insane. Could be the strongest arena card of the set for the mages. You just have to target something with bad stats but a powerful Battle Cry or Death Rattle. Very promising. Power of Creation, 5 out of 5. Another insane card for Mages. It cheats out 12 mana worth of stats for 8 mana, so very solid. Mana Cyclone, 3 out of 5. Can usually get 1 to 2 spells from this card. Very decent hand refill. Its issue is that it's not great early. Caligross, 5 out of 5. So this is a late game bomb with initiative. Very strong, being able to play something and play a spell. Calgar, 4 out of 5. So it's a very powerful ability, but it's hard to draft around this card. Now we have Paladins. Lightforge Blessing, 2 out of 5. So this can help prevent being rushed down once you have the lead, but this card doesn't help in any way to get a lead. And there aren't really any lifesteal synergies in Paladin. Never Surrender, 3 out of 5. Can be extremely powerful if utilized well, but tough to find that opportunity. Bronze Herald, 5 out of 5. This is an insane value card. You get 3 cards for 1, and you do not lose that much tempo playing it. I really like this card for Paladins, as they tend to dump their hands and run out of cards quickly. So this card can help alleviate that problem. Mysterious Blade, 4 out of 5. So a 2/2 weapon by itself is really solid, and it just has upside on top of that. Call to Adventure, 1 out of 5. So this is a super slow card for Arena. I do like the card art. Desperate Measures, 3 out of 5. This is a fun, solid, well-designed card. Dragon Speaker, 2 out of 5. Not reliable in Arena and pretty badly statted. Duel, 1 out of 5. This is just not an Arena card. Commander Raisa, 3 out of 5. Okay stat line, but lackluster ability. Nozari, 4 out of 5. So this has a very annoying survival tool for opponents trying to rush you down if this card is played intelligently, and is also very strong with weapons. Next we have Priest cards. Evil Constrictor, 4 out of 5. This is a very solid lackey generator with decent stats. Henge Clan Shade Quill, 5 out of 5. This is one of the best statted minions we've seen in a long time. The drawback isn't too bad for many control priest players, so it's just a really powerful priest minion and can potentially be meta defining. Definitely a card you want to rate really, really highly while you draft. Convincing Infiltrator, 4 out of 5. Weak stat line, but it's for its cost, but it has a really powerful ability. Forbidden Words, 5 out of 5. So this is insane removal for priest. You will usually be spending less mana to remove the card than your opponent uses to summon the creature. So very solid. Maz Resurrection, 2 out of 5. This is a very RNG heavy spell that uses up your whole turn. Not consistent. Lazul Scheme, 3 out of 5. Can be used to cheat board advantage over your opponent, but somewhat inconsistent. Shadowy Figure, 2 out of 5. It's a solid ability, but weak stats and inconsistent. Cartina Muerte, 5 out of 5. Really powerful late game bomb that has to be dealt with. Madame Lazul, 4 out of 5. Gives information about your opponent, and it also gives you card advantage. Very solid card and ability, but its stat line is somewhat weak. Now we've got rogue cards. Evil Miscreant. This card needed to be 2 mana for it to be good, 2 out of 5. Henge Clan Burglar, 4 out of 5. Very solid card generation that activates other synergies. Daring Escape, 1 out of 5. De-tempoing yourself in Arena is usually not a great play, and it's hard to gain pressure when you vanish yourself. Togwaggle Scheme, 1 out of 5. Shuffling copies into your deck is not worth a card in Arena. Vendetta, 5 out of 5. Very, very powerful removal. If the criteria is met, it's basically an upgraded backstab. Underbelly Fence, 4 out of 5. Decent stats with a strictly very big upside. Can be very, very strong if it triggers. Unidentified Contract, 4 out of 5. So this is an assassinate with a powerful upside. And just can also be very strong if used correctly. Waggle's Pick, 3 out of 5. So this has true silver weapon stats with a potential upside / downside. It can be difficult to use this death rattle correctly. You just have to be careful not to bounce a card back to your hand that you need on the board for pressure. Heist Baron Togwaggle, 5 out of 5. Insane battle cry if you control a lackey. Takna's Whisker, 2 out of 5. So this is a 7 mana 6/6 with little upside. Next we've got the Shaman cards. Walking Fountain, 5 out of 5. This is the Chad version of Stormwatcher. It can be the bridge necessary to run a control Shaman style in Arena. Shaman control has been very tough for Shamans. They really didn't have the tools to keep the board, but with Rush and Lifesteal, it's a really powerful combination, so I do think this card will see a lot of play. Mutate, 3 out of 5. This is decent for improving a unit that has traded already. Soul of the Murloc, 3 out of 5. It's hard to create a board that utilizes this card effectively, but this card does combo well with other Shaman cards. Underbelly Angler, 3 out of 5. It's got solid stats, but Murlocs aren't really used often in Arena. Haggadah Scheme, 5 out of 5. So this is an insane board clear for Shaman. Definitely needed as they are losing Volcano in the rotation. And you have to be careful not to overextend against Shamans because of this card. Looks very good, looks very solid. We'll see play. Sludge Slurper, 4 out of 5. So this is a solid early game minion for Shaman that also gives them a turn 2 play as well. So Muck Morpher, 2 out of 5. Stat lines is pretty bad and the synergy is hard to pull off in Arena. Witch's Brew, 3 out of 5. Being able to heal 20 health in a turn is very strong, and this card can also target minions, so it's a pretty solid card. Swamp Queen Haggadah, 5 out of 5. This is a powerful late game bomb, but you do have to be careful because the turn you do play this is going to be weak. You're going to have to make that up on the second turn. Scraggle, 2 out of 5. Its ability is not very relevant and the stat line is lackluster. Now we have Warlock cards. Reform Scheme, 2 out of 5. It's quite weak the turn you draw this card, but it can become very strong. Evil Genius, 2 out of 5. Destroy minion effects are inconsistent and the stat line is weak. Nazi Broodmother, 3 out of 5. So the stats are weakish and the ability is also somewhat inconsistent. Inferno, 2 out of 5. It's Fan of Knives without the draw and the demon buffs are inconsistent. Eager Underling, 2 out of 5. This is not Fungomancer. Plot Twist, 1 out of 5. I personally do not think shuffling your hand by itself is worth a card. Or 2 mana. Jumbo Imp, 3 out of 5. It has some synergistic cards, but it is unreliable. Darkest Hour, 2 out of 5. This is hard to use well, but it can be very strong. Arc Villain Rafam, 4 out of 5. So it's a 7 mana Ironbark with a solid stat line is how I look at this card. Fell Lord Betrug, 5 out of 5. So this has a powerful ability and good stats. Very solid. Now we've got the warrior cards. Improved morale. This is a 4 out of 5. This has a very strong ping effect that generates value. Dr. Boom Scheme. 1 out of 5. This is way too slow in Arena. Sweeping Strikes. 4 out of 5. This can be a very strong removal tool, and with time, people are going to have to learn how to play around this card. Clockwork Goblin, 2 out of 5. The ability is not worth the stat loss here. Dimensional Ripper, 2 out of 5. This is a very inconsistent ability in Arena, and it uses up your whole turn. Omega Devastator, 5 out of 5. This is an insanely powerful late game removal tool. Very, very strong stats, and basically an assassinate for 4 mana. Rate this card extremely highly in drafts. There is not really any drawback with this card at all. And even if you play this card on curve, the stat line is very strong. Very, very powerful card here. Wrench Caliber. Can Fiery War Axe get any worse? Very sad. 2 out of 5. Blastmaster Boom, 3 out of 5. It's not very likely you're going to have bombs in your opponent's deck when you play this card. So, The Boom Reaver, 4 out of 5. Great stat line and a solid effect. The only issue is that sometimes you're going to low roll, and that's going to feel quite bad. Alright, done with the class cards. We're on to the neutral commons. Traveling Healer, 3 out of 5. Slightly better than Silvermoon Guardian. Evil Cable Rat, 4 out of 5. So this is a very solid Lackey Generation card. Henge Clan Hogsteel, 4 out of 5. A 2 mana Spring Rocket, very, very strong. Delarian Librarian, 3 out of 5. Solid stats and potentially useful effect. Potion Vendor, 3 out of 5. Very strong effect, but it can be hard to utilize effectively. Proud Defender, 5 out of 5. So you can play this card on turn 4, get the 4/6 buff, and then trade with it before playing the minions on that turn. So this is a very strong stall card, and we'll be seeing play. Mana Reservoir, 1 out of 5. So 0 attack minions just do not do well in Arena. Soldier of Fortune, 2 out of 5. Giving your opponent coins is not worth the stat increase for this card. Safeguard, 2 out of 5. It's a weaker Sludge Belcher, but it can be useful in stalls. Sun Reaver Spy, 3 out of 5. So this is a solid stat line with only upside. Pretty solid. Arcane Servant. This is a bland card, but solid stat line. Burly Shovel Fist, 5 out of 5. So this is a powerful 9-drop, which is very uncommon, and because of that, we'll see play. Delarian Crusader, 4 out of 5. Divine Shield is really powerful against some classes, and against those classes, this card is going to be really punishing against them. Eccentric Scribe, 3 out of 5. So I kind of view this card similar to Piloted Shredder, which was a little slow at times. Same stat line, just different death rattle. But this can be very strong if you have the tempo when you play it. Faceless Rager, 4 out of 5. So this can be extremely strong card in the late game. However, it is a bit lackluster early. That's the big drawback with this one. Flight Master, 3 out of 5. So this has really solid stats, but I am a bit worried that giving summoning creatures from your opponent is going to be a little bit detrimental, and this will hold this card back. Henge Clan Sneak, 3 out of 5. So this is This is a solid minion with stealth. Very useful ability here. Heroic Innkeeper, 3 out of 5. So this card is hard to set up, but it has a really powerful ability, potentially game ending. So, Spellbook Binder, 3 out of 5. Not a lot of cards have spell damage, but the stats are solid, so you don't necessarily need the ability. Violeted Spellstorm, 3 out of 5. You just need 2 spells for this card to be playable, which is doable, and any extra will become upside. Violet Warden, 3 out of 5. Just a better Archmage. Having Taunt is big. I had this at 4 out of 5 initially, but I thought about it and I didn't think the stat line was warranting that rating. Toxfin, 1 out of 5. So Murloc synergy in Arena is just really inconsistent, and you shouldn't pick this card up to look for that. Now we've got the neutral rares. Spellword Jeweler, 4 out of 5. So this is a very solid stat line with strictly upside. Hecklebot, 1 out of 5. Letting your opponent summon a free minion from their deck is asking for trouble. Exotic Mount Seller, 4 out of 5. So the stat line is solid, and you can encourage your opponent to remove this card aggressively. Arcane Watcher, 1 out of 5. It's even harder to use than Unpowered Mauler. Mad Summoner, 2 out of 5. This card is hard to take advantage of its ability, and its stat line is pretty weak. Sunreaver War Mage, 5 out of 5. The ability is insane, and it is a relatively easy to trigger card in the right classes, so this card will be used. Portal Keeper, 4 out of 5. So I do want to talk about this card. You lose a bit of value when you play this card, but you get decent value later on in the game. I really like these cards. I really like how they're designed. You play it, and then it gives a bit of excitement for the remainder of the game while you're looking for your draws. Every time you draw, you're like, did I get it? No. Did I get it? Oh, I did. Yeah, so I think this is my favorite ability from the expansion set, and I like these kind of designs. 4 out of 5. Recurring Villain, 3 out of 5. This can be extremely ignoring with the right setup, but its power level is inconsistent. Tunnel Blaster, 5 out of 5. So this is an extremely good defensive removal tool. It's hard to remove this card without losing most of your minions. It's kind of like a replacement for Primordial, but it is slower and most likely not as good. However, it's still a solid card. 3 damage AoE will pretty much wipe out most swarms. So they're basically going to be reliant on big minions after you drop this card down. So it does its job well. Underbelly Ooze, 2 out of 5. Find this card hard to utilize without it dying quickly. I'm not really sold on it being a sticky minion in general. Now we've got neutral epics. Batterhead, 5 out of 5. So this is a very solid removal minion against large boards. It almost feels like a spell where you just play it and then you trade, and maybe you're left with a 3-2, a 3-1, or you just wipe out all their minions. Unseen Saboteur, 2 out of 5. This card is a very risky card to play. It can be useful, but it can also lose you the game, and cards like that aren't very consistent, which means they aren't very strong. Big Bad Archmage, 5 out of 5. So this looks to be a very strong unit. When you play this, you get a 6/6, which is a 6-drop stats, and then you get another 6-drop for 10 mana. So when you play this, you're getting 12 mana worth of stats. But the real nastiness of this card is that if your opponent can't immediately deal with the Archmage, you get another 6-drop. So if they don't have immediate answers to this card, you're going to get immediate value, and any creature that you do summon can immediately be used to protect your Archmage. So it can actually be meta-definingly strong, and going to be a card to look out for and test in draft. Definitely looks promising from my initial review. We will see how bad it does get though in game. Hench Clan Hag, 4 out of 5. This is similar to Grim Necromancer, which is a very solid unit, so it should be the same. Magic Carpet, 2 out of 5. It's kind of hard to have a ton of 1-drops in your hand after turn 3, and the stat line isn't that great. Azerite Elemental, 2 out of 5. It can activate some spells, but the stat line is a more expensive Oasis Snapjaw. Portal Over Fiend, 5 out of 5. So this is a very powerful and fun ability. I've already talked about this ability, and it has very decent stat lines, so I do think this card will be played. Whirlwind Tempest, 2 out of 5. So this is a very funny card, as it doesn't have that many uses. There aren't that many units with Wind Fury in general, and there are even less units that are played in Arena. So it's going to be a very hard card to use, and its stat line isn't impressive. Now we've got the neutral Legendaries. Chief Nomi, 1 out of 5. This card's not really going to trigger in Arena reliably. Don't be baited. There are going to be better cards probably matched up with this. I don't think you should recommend this one. Geppetto Joybuzz, 2 out of 5. It's an expensive card for Arena. It's not reliable to hit good minions for its effect. Not that good. Archmage Vagot, 5 out of 5. So this card can be extremely powerful in the right classes. Casting spells twice can be game winning in general. Archvist is Elysiana, 4 out of 5. So this card can fix your deck with powerful top decks in the late game. Just being able to discover lots of bombs and just stack your deck with that. Barista Lichen, 3 out of 5. So this card's harder to trigger battle cries from the field, but if it triggers, it can be strong, getting extra value from your minions. And that is it. I hope to see you guys later. Thank you for sticking around. I'll see you on the stream. I hope you guys enjoy this content. Let me know if you prefer this format, and I will catch you all later.